there's dirt on my hands.
Hello YouTube, Boss Rino. Welcome to my channel. Ito, malamang nakita nyo na to. Ito yung video na lumabas sa TikTok. Usually sa TikTok na may nag-travel, man is living in 2027. Parang nag-time travel to na 2027, tapos in-upload sa TikTok. Parang ganun. Man is living in 2027 and human race is gone. So, sa mga video nito, sabi niya, 2027 daw itong mga video na to at wala nang tao sa mundo. Grabe, nakakatakot, di ba? Totoo man o hindi, nakakatakot pa rin siya. Kasi isipin mo, ibig sabihin wala na tayo. Hayop. Eh bakit ikaw lang ang natira? Ba't di mo kami tinulungan? Gago ka. So ito, tingnan natin to. Ito ay kay Morsarji. Di ba? Morsarji. Oo. Living proof. OMARGOSH TV. Morsarji. Sino si Morsarji? OMARGOSH TV. So ito, tingnan natin to. Interesado ako dito. Marami nang nag-request sa akin dito dati. Kaya lang, iniiwasan ko kasi parang akala ko fake or something. Malamang, hindi ko alam. Pero na-intriga ako nakita ko lumabas sa aking timeline. So ito, try natin ito bago pa try na iba.
What if you woke up one day to the terrifying reality that you were the only one left on Earth?
Uy, gusto ko yun. Pero sa pelikula lang na ako bida. Yung mga zombie datingan. Ay, grabe, nakakatakot Nakakatakot yung lugar pag walang katao-tao. Tingnan mo. Diba? Paano nyo nakuhanan yan? Nung walang tao, walang
Meet
sasakyan.
Javier, aka Único Sobreviviente, which means lone survivor. He claims to have woken up in a hospital with no recollection of who he was. When he wakes up, he notices that there's no nurses, no doctors, nobody in the hospital at all. When he goes outside to investigate, there's no cars moving, nobody on the streets, not even a bird flying in the air. Yeah, no animals. Now he's recording all of these videos and people are asking so many questions, including myself. At first glance, when you watch these videos, they're very entertaining. You're like, oh, he must be recording them early in the morning. Maybe he did it during one of the lockdowns. He just filmed.
Umaga or lockdown, may matao ka pa rin makikita o sasakyan kasi hindi naman bawal lumabas ang tao Lalo yung mga bumibili ng pagkain, di ba? Hindi naman bawal lumabas Bawal lang lumabas yung mga iba, pero kailangan may lumalabas pa rin.
A bunch of videos and he's just releasing them now, but that's not so. The more I watched, the more I became scared. If you've ever watched movies like I Am Legend, shows like The Walking Dead, you know that there's a lot of money involved in those production sets. Millions of dollars on CGI to make it look like the world is desolate. Now Javier's only using his phone to film and uploading these videos barely edited onto TikTok. And he lives in a very big city. Now, as he starts getting his memory back, he remembers that he was in 2021. When he looks at computers, looks at his phone, everything is exactly the same as 2021, except all the dates on every electronic.
Tinan yung computer niya, 14/02/2027, which kaya naman yata yung kaya edit yan. Pero di ba nakakatakot pa rin?
Device is saying 2027. He realizes that there's some sort of connection between 2021 and 2027. He still has access to the internet, and he's even shown different locations, exact coordinates to where he's at, and leaving things. This is something like a parallel world, a different dimension, but a connection from 2027 where he's at and 2021. What I find rather fascinating and unique is he's going to these places that are populated, and that's what makes me wonder, like, did he really do this during lockdowns and just leave those things there and then had this master plan of people finding them later on? You're not going to want to miss this because the story gets even crazier. And I know what you're thinking, like, this cannot be real. There is something that he's doing, maybe some virtual reality, maybe some tricks with his camera, maybe he's paying people. Valencia, Spain is huge. It's home to about 2.5 million people. When you see some of these videos, even during lockdowns, you can see birds in the air. You can see, this is, of course, other videos that people are posting of where he's been. There are people there, very crowded areas. I put myself in his shoes, like, he's probably really scared. He's by himself. What would you do? Think about it. This surpasses every fear.
Kayo, anong gagawin niyo pag nagising kayo lang ang tao sa mundo? Putang na, siguro unang oras, okay pa kasi inaalam mo pa pero pag tagal-tagal, magpapanik ka na no?
Imagine being all alone.
Ayun, no?
Us human beings, like, we have a connection. We have a connection to other people, to animals. We need that connection. We need those relationships. Nobody around. You're alone. If something happens to you, like, that's it. It's just you. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There's followers of his on his TikTok videos requesting certain locations for him to go and explore and to show that there's no one there. We're not just talking about regular places. These are historic landmarks in Valencia, Spain. Churches, hospitals, even a soccer stadium. Some have argued that he's going early in the morning, but he continues to prove people wrong. In this video, Javier shows a comment on the screen, and the comment says this: all your videos are made super early in the morning at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. when there's no one around. He then goes with this comment on the screen to a heavily populated part of the city with a clock, a public clock, and shows that the time is 5:46.
Paano niya nagagawa yung kung edit yan? Napakahirap niyan. Tatanggalin mo yung mga tao na gumagalaw.
PM. I think that's military time. And I don't know about you. I mean, here in America at 5 o'clock, it's rather busy. People are just getting out of work. That's considered rush hour.
Grabe, walang tao. Wala sasakyan, no? Paano naging edit to? Gumagalaw yung camera niya. Lupit naman yan.
Now, this is Javier's TikTok page. I encourage you to go check it out, give him a follow, let him know that Omar sent you. Now, when I first came across this TikTok page, I was like, it's all in Spanish. Now, luckily for me, I know how to read Spanish. I mean, yeah, Spanish was my very first language. Fun fact about your boy OMARGOSH TV here. There's some things that I don't know. I would say English is my primary language. Okay, so this person pretty much says go inside of an airport. I understand that there's maybe some travel restrictions here and there, but I don't know. I mean, it even shows flights there and it shows the times. And I mean, this place is just completely empty. Lights flickering there. This person said they'll give him $500,000 if they do that. He goes into the bathroom, completely empty. Somebody here in the comments of that video said, why don't you go into an airplane? And I think it's great. I think it's really fun looking at some of the comments. Grab a video passing through the river or passing by the river.
Walang tao.
And I mean, you could see there's no cars on the streets, nobody walking around. I mean, I don't even see birds in the sky. I mean, pay attention and see if you see any birds in the sky.
Wala nga.
I mean, I'm looking. I've been looking. You guys might be able to help me on this. I mean, I don't understand. So somebody says to go to a Mercedes dealership and grab a Mercedes.
Ang galing niya, nagre-request yung mga tao sa TikTok. Puntahan niyo siya sa TikTok. Nagre-request yung mga tao na pumunta ka sa ganito, pumunta ka sa ganito, pumunta ka sa ganito. Ginagawa niya, tapos wala talagang tao.
So he finds his key right here, and I guess he's looking around and see what car this key belongs to, and he finds it. It's right outside.
Oh, shit.
I mean, how was he able to do this upon request? Somebody requested him to go to a Mercedes dealership, and look, he's driving the car. He's the only one on the street, and this looks like dusk. There's somebody in the comment of this video saying, I'm starting to believe that what you're going through is real now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm believing it too. This guy is trapped in another dimension, not just in time, but
Gago, natatakot na ako ha, kasi parang totoo na parang wala talaga siyang kasama. Kasi para i-edit mo yan ng ganyan, napakahirap niyan. Sabi nga 'di ba, yung mga nagagawa yan sa mga pelikula na Walking Dead, yung I Am Legend. So para magawa mo yun is $1,000,000 ang kailangan mong gawin. 'Di ba? Ang kailangan mo ng maraming editor, kailangan mo ng green screen kung ano man para lang magmukhang walang tao sa mundo. Pero siya TikTok lang. Telepono lang katalo na.
You know, some sort of connected world, except there's nobody in his world but him. And this one right here, he goes to the Palacio de Marquez.
Oh shit.
And they said they'll give him $500,000. And he's in there, a place that would be very busy, usually filled with people. Nobody there. Busy city. No security guards. Nobody. Anyways, let's move on to the next. In this video, he has some keychains. Still looking around for birds. Don't see any. But he hides this keychain and leaves a latitude and longitude location right on the screen for somebody to find this. Being that there's a connection between 2027 and 2021, if he leaves something behind, somebody's going to find it. Hides it in a tree. I mean, this is fascinating. Either that or, I mean, this guy is a pro when it comes to editing and special effects. But what makes this crazy, I mean, you can still see nobody in the background. But let's go to the next clips here. People are actually sharing that they found his keychain with the coordinates that he gave them.
Shit.
Now, this person is also showing that the area that he was in is a populated area. You can see people walking their dogs. You can see people jogging, having picnics, and there it is. There's the keychain right there. He put a note there for them. This guy is in shock. Here's another one right here. Guy found it. I mean, did he go out early in the morning when nobody was around and film these shots right before he posted the video? I don't know. I don't know. That's what makes this so cool. This one right here, somebody tells him, why don't you go to the subway? Nobody there. Nobody at the subway.
Wala nga, oh.
And I don't know if you've seen that shot of him walking in. It's still daytime. How is there nobody around? I mean, I know that there's some lockdowns in certain countries, but there's still people doing things. There's still people out there. Maybe he has some connections to, I mean, I know that when the lockdowns were first happening, I mean, you can get arrested for being in some parts of certain cities, you know, depending on where you're at. I mean, he's walking around and there's nobody around.
Oh,
I mean,
diba?
look, he just gets right past the gate. Don't need your Metro card.
Mas nakakatakot to, mga tol.
Bud. Nope. A lot of these videos, people are challenging him to go to certain places. On this one, somebody challenged him, why don't you go back to the hospital? See if you could find some information about yourself, maybe some paperwork. So he goes to the hospital. I mean, this is his vision of when he woke up in the hospital and he didn't know where he was. I mean, that had been so confusing. Nobody around, and you can clearly see there's nobody around. And it says here that he found some paperwork on him, and he shows it. I guess he found that necklace too, but it says his name there. Somewhere it does say the date too. Yeah, 2021. Weird. Okay, this one by far has to be probably my favorite for good reason. It's scary. He goes to the zoo. I don't know. I mean, did they take the animals out of the zoo? And still, like,
sa supa siya pumunta.
How was he able to have access to a zoo? You can see they still have fountains running. I still don't see birds in the sky. This looks like an area where there would probably be maybe some chimpanzees, some large cats, maybe an elephant or two. There's no animals at the zoo. They all disappeared. That was probably where the gorillas were. Bigfoot. But yeah, there's no animals. Where'd the animals go? Is this an abandoned zoo? It looks pretty kept up. The lawn is freshly mowed. The landscape looks nice. I mean, as you can see in the earlier shots, the fountains were on in the water. Where the
Natatakot na ako. Ba't gano'n? Mas natatakot ako dito.
Animals.
Walang hayop.
This one's pretty cool. So he asks Alexa,
¿Qué fecha es hoy?
Es domingo, 21 de marzo de 2027.
Puta,
March 21st
2027.
on a Sunday, 2027. Alexa said it.
Que Google.
lupit. Walang tao. There is so much electricity, why not turn on the TV? Show expiration date of any product in store. Tang ina, sige, game.
Okay, this was one that definitely made me scratch my head. I thought that this was a good idea, whoever wanted him to do this. They said to go to a police station. This is what I find weird. He has a key. They said,
Kailangan ko makita
I
yun.
thought, okay, this was one.
2021, 21, 2022. Oh, expired na. 2027 sa
Okay,
kanya eh.
the police station. This is what I find weird. He has a key to get inside the police station. Like, I mean, maybe he found the key outside. I don't know. One of the police cars is running too. I don't know if he goes inside the police station or he tries to go in. But as you can see, there's nobody in there. I mean, cops usually freak out if you're trying to break into the police station. And yeah, this police car is running and he gets in.
Oh, she.
Maybe it was running for days. I don't know. That's why I find this one a little peculiar. Let me know in the comments what you think. During lockdowns, schools closed. They're still closed. There's a lot of schools in the United States here where people are being homeschooled, kids are being homeschooled. But I mean, shouldn't there be maybe like
nag-enjoy ako dito.
a janitor there? Or maybe somebody gave them access to go into the school? I mean, these are possibilities. I'm not ruling that out. But this person said they'd give him $1 million if he went into a school. Now, maybe it's a lot harder. I know a lot of these people that comment on his videos are from Spain or close by. So they may know, or maybe they feel like it's really hard to get into some of these schools. And you could see he's in there and it's empty. Enter the Mestalla a la Cancha. I don't know.
May susi siya, eh, no?
I think that's their football team, aka soccer stadium in Valencia, Spain. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Don't get upset with me. But he's walking around this stadium like he owns the place, opening up doors. I mean, you can see there's nobody there.
Oh, ilaw,
I mean,
ilaw.
maybe soccer's not in season right now. Possibly. There goes all the players, all their lockers. It's their locker room. And he comes across some merch there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe one of the people that run the place. But this is cool right here. Like, he gets to go inside of the stadium. There's not one person there. You don't see any birds in the air again. It's a very open space. Some people say that that was a drone floating in the sky.
Grabe, lupit ito.
I love science fiction movies, and to feel like you're there with him. You're alone in these videos. Like, he's barely talking, he's moving around.
Ang pinaka-bibilib ko, tapos na eh. Ang pinaka-bibilib ko, yung nagre-request yung mga tao, pupunta sa police station, walang tao. Punta sa simbahan, walang tao. Punta sa zoo, walang... Paano nyo ginawa yung... Sabi natin, may mga connection siya, binabayaran niya yung mga tao na mawala doon sa lugar. Pero yung zoo, ba't walang hayop sa zoo? Ba't walang ibon? Diba? Ang lupit ito mag-edit kung tutuusin. This is nakakatakot din na ang galing niya mag-edit. Diba? Superhuman siya. Napaka-lupit. Nakakamangha, no? Isipin niyo, kayo lang yung tao sa mundo. Diba nakakatakot? Kaya naisip ko dito i-react kasi nakakatakot yung channel natin. So, natakot tayo. Daming alam ng tao. Ang daming alam ng tao. Ay nako, shoutout na lang tayo dahil nakakamangha, ang galing. Very good. Very good. Very good. Teka, naubusan na ako ng shoutout. Ito natin kung may bago ha. Kung may bagong shoutout. 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 So yun, Amaya Orelets, shoutout sa iyo ha. At shoutout kay Zaldi Pedrosa. Shoutout din kay Maricel Suba. Boss Lino, shoutout mo naman yung 9 years old kong anak. Paborito kanyang panoorin. Edmar Paul Suba. Shoutout sa iyo, Edmar Paul Suba ha. Pakabait ng bata ka. At shoutout kay Rizalin Kuroda. Shoutout din kay Sino pa? Dali, last na. Nenits Paduga. Shoutout sa iyo. Maraming salamat sa panonood at hanggang sa muli.